Introducing the man, myth, and legend, geophysicist Stefan Burns. What's up, guys? Hello and welcome to the live stream. I hope you've been enjoying the chat. I hope you've been enjoying the wonderful views of Kilauea Volcano on the big island of Hawaii erupting with episode 43. A bit of a sleeper, but now it's certainly cooking. They've had to adjust the cameras, pull them back like 4, 5, 6 separate times. Look at this. And the timing is crazy because today I recorded a clip for my new Clips channel at Stefan Burns Clips. Some of you have probably seen that. Some of those videos are starting to do well. Make sure you subscribe to that if you haven't already. And the clip was basically talking about how there's a storm coming into Hawaii and how episode 43 was about to go, either today, tomorrow, or maybe the next day. It was looking like probably tomorrow, but well, it came a little early. And in that clip, I specifically talked about, and you can go watch it. I just pushed it live like an hour ago. I wish I had published it a little earlier, but I had to eat something, right? I talked about how all this smoke and fog was going to mix in with that storm system. That is still happening. That storm is still coming in. There's a low pressure system, a Kona low off the coast. There's a lot of rainfall coming in. Thunder, lightning, maybe even hail. Some forecasters are expecting like maybe even some tiny little tornadoes and twisters and spouts. It's going to be a pretty big storm. That is coming in really starting tonight for the islands and then really going to be active for the next 2 days. This is going to be wrapped up in 24 hours. Probably in about 12 hours, this will be totally done. All right, so by the time it turns midnight, I'm sure there's not going to be any more eruptive activity at Hawaii. But all this smoke and ash and fog settles out and around the area for quite a while. It can last for days after an eruption, even longer. It's going to mix in with everything that's happening. I think this storm coming in is going to be even bigger than expected as a result, because specifically all these particles, right, ash particles and more, they act as condensation sites for effectively moisture in the air. And they also have electromagnetic charge that they build up with, meaning that you can have stronger electromagnetic potentials in these clouds, in these thunderstorm systems, etc. So I think we're going to be in for quite a show after that blood moon. Remember, Hawaii was almost perfectly centered with that total lunar eclipse, the blood moon, on the 2nd and 3rd of March. And well, now it's the 10th, so it's about a week afterwards. But this is the first eruption since that blood moon, because the last eruptive episode, number 42, was back on the 15th of February. So it's been nearly a month now. So yeah, we're seeing some amazing shots here of Kilauea from our east camera here. And then we also have our south camera there, which looks like it's starting to clear up a little bit. But I don't know why they haven't readjusted this yet. Unfortunately, they're stuck on just showing the bottom there. Hopefully they adjust that soon. And you'll notice here, we have the tephra raining down. So this is the west camera. And they just put this in, it's over here, okay? And you'll remember back with episode 31, you'll see a clip of that actually in that video I just posted on my Clips channel with the big fire bow. That was August 22nd, 2025. I was there for that. Big fire bow, knocked out a camera. That was going this way to the east. And then they're like, okay, well, we need a new camera. They kind of fixed that one up. They put a new one in. Let's put a camera in over here to check it out. Now they just did that in the past few days. It is getting bombarded with tephra. And it's probably going to be fine. But if this continues to blast a little bit further that way, it may not make it. So. And that's also where you can go and have a really nice view line about for Kilauea is over here on this side. Look at this coming down right there. Yeah, so right now I'm not sure if people are at the park. I'm sure there are people at the park, but in terms of this overlook area right there, it looks a little squirrely to be there right now, frankly, quite honestly. But Right now, these lava fountains are very, very tall, as we can see here with our far out imagery. This is our, I think this is our east camera. I may have got the cardinal, I think the directions are right, but we'll see. This is our east camera here, shooting from all the way across the crater and the caldera, which has filled in quite a lot. It has really filled in quite significantly. And then, yeah, that's our west crater, exactly. And this is our south crater. Oh, it looks like they just adjusted it. Here we go. We can see it's a little bit better now. Or if they didn't adjust it, at least some of the ash and smoke and more is clearing up. So, yeah, we have a big eruption happening at Hawaii. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Stefan Burns. And yeah, just here to kind of hang out. It's a little late here. I'm in Rome, Italy at this moment in time. Got here a couple days ago. We had a big earthquake last night, the largest earthquake to hit Italy in 10 years, going back to a triple sequence of magnitude 6s. Magnitude 6 at depth, 381 kilometers down, directly underneath Italy's supervolcano. That's Campi Flegrei. Released a video on that. I'm sure some of you watched it already. That was basically south of Rome. That's Naples. And well, we all survived it. Almost no one felt it for the most part because it was so deep. But that is the largest earthquake that has struck Italy in 10 years. So it is significant. And it being so deep makes it especially anomalous. I mean, yeah, deep earthquakes occur, but we've been having a string of deep earthquakes, right? All the biggest earthquakes recently have been deep earthquakes. The 7.1 was super deep at, I think, like 550 or even greater than 600 kilometers down. 3 big magnitude 6+ earthquakes, Fiji, all super deep. They get deep earthquakes there. Now this magnitude 6 deep earthquake, Italy, like within more of a continental interior, you could say, between the Eurasian plate, African plate, kind of in that zone, right? Okay, like what's happening, folks? So what's happening? And directly under a supervolcano and Mount Vesuvius. Yeah, it's 381 kilometers up, but still basically directly below. We've been seeing tons of volcanic activity across the Ring of Fire over the past few days. I can show you that really quick. I reposted a whole bunch of clips of volcanoes. On my my profile on X. So let me just show you really quick. Let's kind of scroll through that for you to give you a sense of what the heck is happening on our planet. So here we go. You can follow me on X at Stefan Burns Geo. You see the handle right there. I post updates in between my videos here on YouTube. So this is a good thing to check out if you want to be up to date. You can see I posted activity beforehand. I often post also, if I create materials for my videos, I usually post those in advance so you can look at them. But here we see Krishenikov volcano, eruptive activity still continuing. As of this moment in time, we see this is satellite data from the 7th of March. Right there, that's the Kamchatka Peninsula where we had that magnitude 8.8 megaquake. Here we have, as we see, Merapi volcano, West Sumatra, Indonesia. We have same volcano, but just a different view of it there. Here we see Ambae Island with the eruption of, what is this? Manaro Vui volcano, and this was March 7th right here. So this thing's been pumping like crazy ever since we had the activity that we've had. It's been quite busy there. And that was after a magnitude 6.4 earthquake that struck Vanuatu. This could become a very big story. As you see, this is a very big volcano. This could become a very big story. It's already a big story. I think it could become a bigger story because this thing has been pumping, baby, non-stop. We see an eruption here in Ecuador. This was on the 8th of March. And then if you go further back, you'll see some other stuff. Lots of fireballs. I mean, there's a lot happening right now. So You can follow me on X to stay up to date with all that. The latest now in that list of volcanoes erupting is Hawaii. Episode 43, putting on quite a show. Here we see it once more. I will readjust this camera for everybody because I've had to really just, if you see their actual view here, right, it's quite zoomed out. So I've punched in for everybody so we see it a little bit more zoomed in. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff happening, you could say. A lot of fun stuff happening, you could say. We just got a really big super thanks in from Rose Moonshine 1111. Thank you so much for the extremely generous super thanks. That is much appreciated. It's because of people like yourself that help make this channel possible. When I first started off, I didn't ever think, I had dreams, but I wasn't sure it was ever going to work out and be able to actually, be able to keep food in my belly and a roof over my head. It has happened. That's awesome. I love it. I love the community that we brought here together. We're all interested in learning more about the earth, the sun, space, consciousness, ourselves, in general, being supportive of each other, and just, creating a positive environment for us to interact with each other, explore the world, and create community. So people like yourself are really making that possible. And Tressa, thank you for all the memberships that you've gifted thus far during the stream and in general throughout prior streams. So that's really, really awesome to see. Thank you all for being here in the chat, being part of the channel. It wouldn't be possible without you guys. I put in a tremendous amount of work, as most of you know. Today was a big work day, working on videos because there's a lot of updates to do, but that's only half the equation. So without you guys, it simply would not be possible. So yeah, we'll maybe take a few questions and kind of just hang out for a while. It is getting close to 10 p.m. I've been going to sleep later than I would like. I'd like to get some earlier sleep tonight, but we'll hang out for a bit and get to that. So yeah, if you have a question, feel free to ask it and enjoy the eruption with Kilauea. We're going to look at some tilt data too, but we'll take some questions first before we look at the tilt data to get a sense of how long this eruption may last. I think it's probably going to be about 12 hours or so, maybe 12 to 14 hours. We'll see. You are quite welcome, Rose. Thank you once again and for being here. Question from Seldom Seen. Does she do this often? Well, let me show you that data. Here we have our tilt data going back to the beginning, which would be December 23rd of 2024, when these eruptive episodes at Kilauea started. And so we've seen quite a bit of variability here. I don't really know which one's episode 41 because we see like this, that might be one, that might be two. The beginning's a little choppy, but you see that things settled out pretty quickly. Here's an eruptive episode. There's one, right? Up, down. And we're measuring tilt with these sensors on the surface of the ground. And so it goes up, and then when the subsidence, it drops, and we really get a lot of subsidence when we have these big fountaining episodes. You see that they used to be more continuous and more frequent back in early 2025, but they're also shorter episodes. And now they've been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this really accelerated when there was a magnitude 4.4 earthquake that struck the moment this eruptive episode ended. So this is episode 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38. Right at the end of that episode, it's either 37 or 38. I'm pretty sure it's this one, yeah. 38, it was a huge eruptive episode. You see how much further it dropped down below all the others, right? Really big, and then boom, magnitude 4.4 earthquake in Volcanoes Park, right near Kilauea. And well, clearly some fracturing occurred, and open up new pathways. Things did recharge, but they've been getting bigger and bigger now each time. We had almost a month of buildup since the last one there with episode, in between episodes 42 and now 43. So this does occur at a fairly regular frequency. It's not every 10 years right now for Kilauea. It's about every 2 weeks or so, maybe a little bit further out. The average recurrence interval for about the past 9 eruptions is like 17, 18 days. It's about 17 days. Sometimes it's like 10 days, sometimes it's like 22 days. This one's pretty close to that as well. It's even a little bit more than that. So yeah, but the thing is, these sort of continuous eruptive episodes aren't the most common. And we don't know when it's going to stop. We could get 200 of these. We could get this to be the last one. What we do know is that there is a pretty regular frequency to them. So if you ever wanted to see an epic volcano, a volcanic eruption, like really mind-blowing, now is the time to book your ticket to Hawaii. And it's going to be bloody expensive because people know that. And people from around the world now are planning their trips to see this happen. The thing you have to keep in mind is you have to plan your trip so it's fairly wide. You need probably 2 weeks, and you're going to estimate the best time for the next eruptive episode to be in the middle of your trip, and then have a week buffer on each side at least. And you're going to need a way to get there. You're going to need to be checking that live stream and all the updates. You know, we get closer and closer. But I did that in August, and I saw 2 different eruptions, and it was awesome. Now it's even busier. Now I guess car rentals are super, super expensive, like the day, like a few days before it goes off, and some of the rentals are getting super expensive. So, you know, that's awesome for the economy there. It just makes it more difficult for people who want to show up, but that's kind of just the day and age right now, right? You got to pay for the show. Pays you to be early. If you're watching this back 6-9 months ago when I was reporting on this and jumped on it, which I'm sure some of you did, like I did, then you saw it. And if you live there, then you're in for a treat every single time it erupts. So really some pretty incredible stuff. And a question from Sticks and Stones. Please tell me that the Big Island won't do anything like Tonga. I love a whole lot of people there. Tell me geologically that this is impossible. Well, I mean, I'm not like an AI chatbot which just wants to tell you what you want to hear. But we don't really have any data or evidence of there being massive explosions at the Big Islands. The magma simply is just too viscous. And so it flows very easily. It needs to be very, very thick. It has a very low viscosity rather. It needs to be very thick, like honey and syrup almost, for it to really get congealed and then for that pressure to build up and get a big explosion. So that's the big difference between a shield volcano like a stratovolcano. Tonga clearly was a big eruptive event where a lot of energy built up and boom shakalaka it went. That's probably not going to happen in Hawaii. The mantle plume and the hotspot that feeds it is very, very, very mafic and has very low viscosity to it and just flows right up. There would have to be some sort of change in the mantle or at the core mantle boundary, significant change for that to be affected, and then it'd have to percolate up, and because it'd be sticky, it would get all stuck up and stopped. So yeah, the chances of something happening like that in Hawaii is basically zilch based on my geologic understanding. The worst thing that would happen is if there was some massive surge, the entire islands may like perhaps overflow with lava, like a 2012 scenario. But I don't think that's really likely. Maybe it's happened before. I'm not sure there's geologic evidence of that per se. You know, we have lava flow data, so maybe, you know, super widespread lava flows across like all the main active islands has happened. I think I would have heard of it if that had been the case. So yeah, your friends and family there are gonna be fine. My friends there are gonna be fine for something like a Tonga eruption. You're referencing, for everyone that's watching, the Hunga Tonga Hunga Apai eruption in January 2022, the largest volcanic eruption in the 21st century. Big volcanic eruption. We're still dealing with the fallout from that in terms of our climate. So huge volcanic eruption, and we could get more. We've been having pretty much continuous earthquake activity in the Carbonic Trench and around Tonga since then. And that's an area that's very active, but a little bit more than I would say is normal. Though I'm not the end-all be-all final authority or expert on this, but just as someone who checks it all the time, you know, really wish they would adjust this camera here and tilt it up for us, because these are the best views of it by far, but they're just clipping the top of this right there. And Clapdash is asking, do we still have a Uranus-Pluto alignment? Will that have a huge impact on volcanic activity on Earth? How large can the consequences of Earth releasing energy all at once be? Well, yeah, we have a trine between them. It's a 120-degree angle. As I referenced in today's video from Italy, in 1538, the Monte Nuovo eruption, the last big eruption at Campi Flegrei, and actually wasn't that big, but the last eruption at Campi Flegrei had an exact Pluto-Uranus opposition. Like exact. Right now we have a trine. It's also exact. And it really will be later in like May and June, and really going into later this year, but it's pretty much there right now. How that affects volcanic activity, that's hard to say. But sometimes you see the signatures pop up with big events. I don't see planetary geometry being as connected to volcanic activity as I do see it being connected to solar activity and earthquakes, but there's a lot more research to do there. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Tressa, for gifting some more memberships, and also to Twitch. Thank you as well. It's very generous of you guys. And Oak Hill Classroom is mentioning the fact that another YouTube guy, Dutch Sense, gave me a shout out. Every now and then he mentions me. I guess he's a fan of the channel. We've chatted a few times in his live stream, not much, but a few times. And I'll say this. We had earthquake activity in Turkey. I know his forecasting method because, you know, he shared it. So we had earthquake activity in Turkey, and then we had it in Greece. And I was thinking to myself, as I landed in Italy, I was like, oh man, I hope this Dutch Sense earthquake forecasting method doesn't pan out, because now I'm in Italy and we're next in line, because his idea is that they kind of travel in this wave. And we do see that. You know, he's definitely tapped into a few different things, and, you know, kind of just through observation alone, figured out a few things that are certainly worth paying attention to. And so I thought that to myself like 2 days ago. And then, you know, I went to bed right before this earthquake. I didn't feel it, but I woke up at 4 and I had a feeling. It's like, did something happen? And I checked my phone and the earthquake alert was right there. I was like, I knew it. And so that's my story there. Nice to hear him referencing the channel, and I wish him the best. He seems like a nice guy. I think he's doing, I think as we all are, we're doing the best that we can. Thanks, Peter. If I need a ride or die guy. If we go into space, then I'll call you, all right? Here on Earth, I think I'm fine, but if we're going to blast off to a different planet and I need a ride or die guy, I will let you know. We'll be good then, that's for sure. This is looking pretty nice now. I mean, this is almost like a wall of lava just coming straight up. This is intense. Let's increase the size on this. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, lots and lots of energy pumping out of Hawaii right now Let's look at our tilt data to get a sense of how much longer this can last. So we'll look at this right here. Here we have our tilt data provided by the USGS. These aren't updated like every 2 minutes, so there can be a little bit of a delay on this, but I think there is right now. But here we see how much subsidence we've had since this started here, and we can kind of track this back to the 4th of March to see that reference point, and the 4th of March would be right about here. So we have probably another 8 hours at least before this abates, unless this is going to stop short. You see here, for example, it went down and actually stopped very short. Then it went up. So the big question now is this going to go to prior levels? Is it going to go above or even go further down? This could be a really big eruptive episode. In general, they've been getting bigger. I would say the forecast would probably be 60% chance that it's at this zone or lower, 20% chance it's kind of right in that area, maybe a little bit above, and then 20% chance, probably more like 25% chance it's like right in this area, and maybe like 15% chance it's a short eruptive episode. It did start a little early compared to the last one, so we see that we filled up progressively more each time for episodes 42, 41, 40, but we're still below the high there for 39, and this time it abated a little sooner, but it was a longer duration buildup. We see these periods of deflation in between. We haven't had a signature like that yet at Kilauea. That's really the first time we had a really severe signature like that. We saw little teases of that with some others, but nothing like this one has. So quite significant. There's our favorite volcano once again. And Peter is asking, with the releases, is there a change in the magnetosphere? The magnetic field is pretty much the same. I mean, I think we have a little bit of geomagnetic activity come in right now. We've been having some, but nothing too crazy. Everything looks pretty much fine as of this moment in time. So yeah, not too worried. I'm not worried about Earth's magnetic field. There's a whole crop and contingent of people online and just in general that are very worried about it because they've kind of been programmed to be worried about it. Earth's magnetic field is steadily weakening. It has been doing so since about 1000 AD, and it also was about an equivalent strength around 1000 BC. So it hit this peak and kind of went like this, and then it started to go down. But we see in Earth's history that at times you have positive flux lobes as well. So not only does Earth's magnetic field weaken, and for example, a magnetic anomaly like the South Atlantic anomaly, which is weakening rapidly right now. This is insane. Check that out. That is wild. But we also at times see positive flux lobes where the magnetic field dramatically strengthens. So in the past 1,000 years, we saw that over Western Europe. We saw that over Mesoamerica. We saw that over Japan. We saw that over Hawaii. We have these records. So I'm not really too concerned about a magnetic anomaly indicating that Earth's magnetic field is about to do a pole reversal or even an excursion. We'll have very clear data that that's about to occur if we get there. And it's going to occur over geologic time. Like the actual flip takes like hundreds of years. You have a period where the field strength is like 5% of what it is. That's like 100 years long. So it's not a fast thing. It takes time. So if anyone's trying to really freak you out about a pole flip, they're just trying to sign you up to their cult or something, their ranch. I have a whole video playlist on Earth's magnetic field. You can check that out if you want. I wouldn't worry about it though. I'm not worried about it. And I'm the one that's researching this stuff all day. If I get worried about it, I'll let you guys know. That's kind of my thing I've said many times now. Like the moment it's starting to happen, I will let you know, right? Like I'm an independent person here. I'm not just There's no point or reason for me to hide anything, right? Like, I just want to understand what's actually happening. If it's happening, folks, don't worry. I'll make all the YouTube videos on it with all the clickbait thumbnails, okay? You can be guaranteed that. It's not happening though, which is why I don't do it, because I'm an honest, trustworthy person. So at least that's something that I really take pride on, is just always relaying the truth as best as possible while still having a, open mind. We don't know everything, so we do the best that we can. And yeah, if you're watching this, at times you'll see some birds flying around. So there's a scale perspective. Birds aren't really, I don't think the birds are flying into the lava. I mean, maybe, but I think it's a scale perspective where it's flying like half a mile away from it and swooping around. It looks like it YOLOs into the lava. But yeah, these are birds. I'm pretty sure they're not UAPs or anything. Oh, that was a big burst that just went up right there. Did you see that? I had this one lady who was emailing me for months asking me about a UAP that flew into the volcano, and she was going crazy about it. And it's like, it was a bird. So yeah, you can kind of get a little lost on things at times if you really latch on to it. So hopefully the birds are fine. We hope they're not getting roasted. Maybe it did. I didn't see it. I have to go back. I mean, some birds may want to just get it over with. Like, you know what? It's time to go. Being a bird on the Big Island would have that possibility and opportunity at any moment in time. Like, all right, guys, it's been a fun ride. I'm out of here. Yeah, even the birds can't take it anymore. Yeah, what's happening in this world? A lot of amazing, beautiful things. There's also a lot of madness happening right now. And Earth and humanity, we both need to heal. That's the truth. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. V1 cam is down. Okay, let's check it out. I think that's this. Well, we're looking at. Oh no, we're not looking at V1. I think you're talking about. Oh, here we go. GG. Okay, let me edit this really quick to get this full screen for us. This is the new camera that they put in, and it's gone. Well, I mean, it's not gone. Clearly still giving us speed, but it's being pelted right now. This is not going to last that much longer. Yeah, so you keep that in mind. Any birds flying around right now are getting pelted by tephra, like pumice. I mean, look at that. That was a pretty meaty impact right there. These things are generally pretty light, but some of them have some weight to them. Okay, I mean, yeah, this would not be fun being out there. Look at that impact. So the newest camera that they just put in has already been decommissioned after like 3 days. Yeah, I mean, I just posted about it on my X account because they did a post and I just shared it with my audience. On March 7th, here it is. Let me show you. Okay, right here. New USGS Kilauea livestream camera V1 has audio now. We should get the latest eruptive episode in 1 to 3 days. Oh, hey, 3 days after the 7th is the 10th. Pretty good. Anyways, will be interesting to hear the volcano. It's basically just a rumbling noise. I would stream that audio to you if I could, but they just put this up and it's already been knocked down. So sad day. but they'll come back, they'll build it bigger and better than last time. Look at that piece, that's pretty wild. Imagine we just start seeing like chunks of gold fall down. People would freak out, they would go ballistic. I bet people would start charging down there right now, even with the tephra. People would do it. Right now with the economy the way it is, whew, not good. But we can go back to our K2 cam. Low res because this is from so far out, but nice double fountain event occurring right now at Kilauea Volcano. And let's get the latest info, see if they've updated their estimates for the height of these fountains recently, because they release interim messages in between. So here we have it for about 30 minutes ago. This is 10:42 Hawaii Standard Time today, March 10th. Both north and south vents are above 1,000 feet high and producing a lot of tephra spreading to the north. Golf course housing and Highway 11 are being hit with tephra up to 5 inches across. Plume is over 25,000 feet above sea level and spreading north. So that's what I'm talking about as it relates to this big storm that's coming in. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's going to mix in with all this. 25,000 feet up is 5 miles. Excuse me, this is really going up there. So we can go to zoom.earth, and if you want a pretty quick but comprehensive update, you can watch my video I released on my Clips channel. I go into this there. I just released that like an hour and a half ago. I think it's more like 2.5 hours ago. Regardless, here we see zoom.earth. Here we have the Hawaiian Islands. There's a big low pressure system right here. Let's look at our up-to-date satellite imagery. We see that here. So this is the low pressure system. We can look at that directly with our pressure map. So this is called a Kona low, very, very big, 992 hectopascals at the low. And we can go to our wind. We see that there's quite a lot of wind up here. This is like sustained wind speeds of up to about 80 kilometers per hour. And the gusts are even higher. The gusts are really up there. They've actually increased a little bit more, 120 kilometers per hour. We see this vorticity building right here, and there's a wave of precipitation that is going to start slamming into the islands today. So we can play this going forward. Here we see that coming in. It'll start with Kauai, eventually it'll hit Oahu, Maui, the other islands, and then the big islands. So big storm warning for Hawaii for the next 3 days or so at least. And as long as that low pressure system stays there, it could keep basically pushing this sort of activity over the big islands. So now we see that we're in the 12th of March, and you see just how slow this is. So now we have the big island pumping out through Kilauea a ton of ash, smoke, fog, all the things. And that is just going to perhaps, supercharge this system coming in as well. It's certainly possible, because that is coming in, sweeping over like this, and then depending on the wind patterns, I mean, we can even look at that. Let's see what the wind is showing. It's showing the winds are going like this across the Hawaiian Island chain into the system. So all that ash is going to get sucked in. And I think it's just going to make the whole thing a bit more, not explosive, that's not the word, but the electrical activity, I would say, is probably going to be more than expected. Like a normal meteorological forecast may not take this into account. Maybe they do, but we're doing it right now. With all that particulate in the air being swirled up into that, I think it's the electromagnetic potentials will get higher, and you'll have more lightning arc discharges, cloud to cloud and ground to cloud and vice versa, etc. So yeah, we're having a lava storm right now hit Hawaii, and also a big weather storm hit Hawaii simultaneously. Though Kilauea started up right beforehand, which in some aspects may not be better than a simultaneous. It was going to happen. The time frame effectively for this eruption was now. It was going to happen. Our our camera here, our west camera, still down. But here we have the fountaining event. So both of these about 1,000 feet high and likely to go on for another 8 hours or so. So tons of activity before this storm comes in. That's then going to hit. Kilauea, by the time the storm really gets going, will be recharging, but a lot of that material will be up and swirling already in the atmosphere. And it's going to take some time to precipitate down, which means that there also could be a possibility of things like acidic rain for the Hawaiian Islands for the next few days, where you have, for example, like sulfuric acid mixed into the rain and also ashy rain. So if you're living on the islands, keep that in mind. The rain may not be the best. It may not be good, clean rain, especially if you have rainwater collection systems. You really may want to tarp over them. If you live there, I'm sure you're plugged in and you're on top of it. But that's certainly a concern that I would have if I was living there, that we could all of a sudden get some really ashy and acidic rain that you would not want to drink, that would take your water and make it not potable anymore. So you may want to cover up your rainwater collection systems, especially those living in like Puna and the Hawaiian Acres area, which is near Kilauea. I'm sure they're used to this because we have these sort of events and it rains there all the time, but just something to be mindful of as well. Yeah, and then also, as I mentioned in my clip video from today, that's again on my clips channel at Stefan Burns Clips, there's also potentially hail coming in with the storm, and even some people are forecasting maybe some little twisters and spouts and tornadoes and stuff. So this is a big storm coming in, one of the biggest in a long time for Hawaii. Thunder and lightning looks basically guaranteed. Hail is certainly possible, and then it could go up from there as well. Like, it's certainly possible. And thank you, Una, for the super sticker. That's very generous of you, a longtime supporter. So thank you so much for not only that, but for being here for so long, for everyone that's been part of the channel now through basically since the beginning. Thank you so much. Really grateful for all your support. And it's not just me that's grateful, it's for everyone here. This community that we built is really, I think, quite special. So thank you for that. An update from Tracy. I don't know where she's getting this data from. Maybe it's from one of the other live streams or something, but they are trying to fix V1 camera. I don't know who would sign up for that job, especially as a public government employee, but hey, oh wait, did someone move it? Was that a phantom finger I just saw over here? Is someone out there like with a super strong umbrella trying to fix this? What's happening? Oh, maybe it's like I think they had them on like motor accentuators or something like that. Maybe they're trying to get this thing lifted back up again remotely. Ooh, but look at that, man. I mean, these are big impacts. Yeah, so it looks like they can tilt it a little bit side to side and move it that way. This has to be remote. No way they have a USGS intern out there. That'd be madness. Who would sign up for that? Unless it's raining gold nuggets, and actually that would be a lot worse because the density would be way higher. It would be maybe the end for you. Oh, okay. So yeah, so here we see the tripod. This is interesting. They're doing their best. But yeah, this is what it can be like. This is, again, the message from the USGS right now. I'll read this again. Maybe you have a new update because they're updating very actively when these eruptive episodes occur. We're still, a little less than an hour now since the last update, but Tephra is raining down to the north across the golf course housing and Highway 11 up to 5 inches in size. So there are areas that are just being blasted right now. And so there are people that sometimes get caught out there. Red warning right now in effect for Kilauea. Yeah, quite a lot happening. We'll move over to this camera. That is both fountains. And yeah, if you were watching from the beginning, you know that the right vent was the explosive one at the beginning, like quite so. It took a long time for this one on the left to really even wake up. Now it is the bigger one. So anyone that was betting on team left vent is the winner here. I was looking at that, I was like, you know what? I bet they're right, but I wasn't live yet on camera. I didn't have to say anything. Cameraman never dies. But yeah, we're having big lava fountaining right now from Kilauea Volcano and huge lava flows. The crater for Kilauea is filled up quite a bit. You know, there's a big subsidence event, I believe it is 2022 that occurred, but I would have to look it up specifically. Just a few years ago though, nothing like crazy long ago where all of a sudden the whole thing basically sunk down. It's been filling up since then. So that's, you know, Hawaii is an active volcano, especially the Big Island. And there's changes that occur. Sometimes this vent goes nuts and then the other one turns on, and there's a lot of active dynamic things are always unfolding at different time scales. We can see that happen just within one eruption. We can see that happen across now 43 eruptions. And we can also see that occur across longer time scales of decades and decades. So we have someone here saying they live 7 miles away, Beatrice, 7 miles away. Maybe she can provide us another update on what's happening there. So if you feel like writing something out, Beatrice, I'll throw it up on the screen for everyone to read. I would be curious to hear what you are experiencing right now being so close to Kilauea. Oh, not that. And Daniel's asking which way the wind is blowing. Well, the update from USGS is that the tephra is spreading to the north. And so I imagine there's some amount of wind pushing it to the north. But maybe Beatrice here can also update us on the wind direction. She can hear it from her house, 7 miles away. So that's quite a big eruption. This, again, they've been getting bigger and bigger, basically. I mean, not every single one is bigger than the last, but the general trend is that these have been getting more and more epic. So when I was there for Eruptive episode 31, that was the firebow. That was quite significant. Obviously we could hear it, but we couldn't feel any heat. One of my acquaintances in Hawaii, he actually goes and gets footage of them and sells those photographs at like the Hilos Farmers Market, his website and everything. Shout out to him, great guy. He's gone out there since that episode. He tries to catch every single one. He may be out there right now. And there was a few episodes after the one that I was there for. He's like, yeah, dude, we're like feeling the heat of the volcano. So that, you know, these are big effects. And the bigger they get, the less safe it is to kind of go to some of these viewing areas. So the Park Service is really active on, you know, letting you know where you can go, where you can't go. I wonder where people are watching this one from right now. Certainly you can watch it from here, because this is super zoomed out. And let me take this and actually scale this out for you guys, because I have it super punched in for the stream. So certainly you can watch the eruption from the restaurant there effectively, all the way across the crater. But you know, how close can you get over there? I'm not so sure with this tephra coming down. I mean, you even see it coming down in this video stream. So you wouldn't want to be here as well. How big these pieces are, hard to say, but it doesn't really look fun. But these are big lava fountains. These must be over more than 1,000 feet now. Maybe the new update from USGS, once they post it, hopefully soon, still waiting on that, it's been 50 minutes now, will give us a clue. But I think we're probably looking at, I mean, look at this. We're probably looking at 1,500 feet now with that one. Let me make sure this is up to date. I think it's live. Oh, there's the live. Okay, so that one keeps not being live. I'm glad I checked. Yeah, I think we're looking at 1,500 feet here, but hard to say because scales are relative, and just because I've seen quite a few of these doesn't mean that I can just eyeball it perfectly in 2 seconds. But it's a lot. You go back here, they're still trying to fix this camera. God bless them. But this is the main show for sure right here with the south camera. Beatrice is saying there's a huge ash plume. We see that with the one zoomed out camera, but again, going up 5 miles in the air. So we're not seeing that full perspective wide angle from any of these cameras. Keep that in mind. And one more update from her, because this is interesting. A swarm of bees flew by her house as the eruption began. It's interesting. The closest residential area, correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be Volcano Village. There's like a little village there, a couple of restaurants. It's right there. It's like right there. I mean, there may even be some, well, I think there's a hotel there for the actual park, inside the park. But in terms of more normal residential area, it'd be Volcano Village. And yeah, this is Kilauea Volcano on the Big Island, Hawaii. For everyone that's just jumping in, if you are, hello and welcome. I'm your host, Stefan Burns, geologist, geophysicist, cosmic bro, just someone here to understand what's happening on the planet, researching into it, sharing that information with you guys, keeping an open mind, looking at everything, basically as fresh as possible, because we know very little compared to what actually exists. And if you want to find out the truth, then the goal is to really look at everything almost like your baby. So looking at all this stuff, when I look at 43 eruptive episodes for Kilauea in a row now, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's spelling the end of the island chain or anything. I mean, this is normal, but at the same time, it shows that this hotspot is very, very active. And so you add that onto all the other volcanic activity that we're seeing, and I think it becomes significant. I don't think you can just immediately discount it. So it's kind of, you have to look at the full picture, the full spectrum. And if you do that, we're in a pretty dynamic period of time right now, energetically, with earthquake activity. Strongest earthquake since 2011, last year, at the 8.8 megaquake. Tons of deep earthquakes occurring right now. Like, where do you think this comes from? It's from the deep earth, baby. Like, we actually, the core of the planet, we have an inner core, we have an outer core. The outer core is liquid. And we know that very conclusively because shear waves, we have different types of seismic waves. Compressional waves that kind of go like this. Shear waves are going like this as they're propagating, right? So it's actually shearing things like that. Shear waves don't propagate through liquids. That's simply, it's not possible. A compressional wave can travel through a liquid. A shear wave can't. We see seismic waves from the most powerful earthquakes basically don't pass through shear waves at least, don't pass through the liquid outer core. So part of our planet is liquid. It's under tremendous high temperature and pressure, but it's liquid. So our planet's pretty crazy. So this is coming up from the depth, baby. And of course it changes as it gets closer and closer to the surface, but our planet is a lot more liquid and molten than most people realize. We live on like a solid crust, but the reason why is because it's so energetic. Solids are typically low energy states. The higher up in energy you go, the more things go from solid to liquid to gas to plasma. So there's a lot of plasma processes happening within our planet that most people are unaware of. With our core as well. So yeah, we live in a really crazy world, and seeing this occur 43 times now, again, it's not abnormal. We've seen this before, but these sort of continuous eruptive episodes aren't the most common thing. 43 times now on top of everything else is just another data point that's really giving you a clue as to what is happening. And it's nothing to be necessarily afraid of, but it's good to be aware and, you know, to be prepared. And there may not be much that you have to prepare for, but if you're, for example, living in Naples or Pozzuoli and you have Campi-Flagray supervolcano right outside your door, which a lot of people do down there, like literally, and you just have a magnitude 6 earthquake, strongest in 10 years, strike directly underneath the supervolcano, maybe it's time to take some precautions. Maybe it's time to think about perhaps moving, like increasing, exponentially increasing seismic activity at Campi-Flagray now since 2020. Most earthquakes that has ever been observed there last year in the record. So you got to start asking yourself, like, is this just going to settle out, or is this actually going to, is it going to blow? And yeah, having huge events like this, yeah, it's a different part of the globe, but there are changes occurring within our planet just as much as there are changes occurring in our space environment. Earth is always changing at all the different scales. Everything's fractal. So, you know, it's good to be aware and prepared that some of these things exist, and just to kind of have a greater understanding and respect for Mother Earth, what she's capable of, and recognizing that she's a power far beyond yours, and that if you are given the signal that she's going to do something, it's time to go. God forbid that happens, but we hope, you know, everything is generally fine, but that does happen at times. We have a rich record geologically of this, historically, etc. If the signs are knocking, time to get out. So that's really what we're tracking at the channel. We want to understand what's happening with our planet, the other planets, the sun, solar system, the cosmos, and you know, in order to live the best life possible, because being aware of these things really helps you to learn more about yourself, because again, there is this microcosm, macrocosm, scaling to everything. Universe is within, the universe is without, and to live a more vibrant, peaceful, beautiful life. I think these are all wonderful things, and that's really, these are my goals at least. So I'm just espousing on some of the things that I believe and share with everybody. Mamma mia. Hit that like button, folks. Thanks for being here on the live stream, for being here in the chat. I think I'm going to sign off for today. I'm going to leave this up until I go to bed so you guys can watch more of this. But thank you all so much. It's been wonderful having you in the house. I'm glad I caught this because I was worried that this was going to happen while I was asleep, and because these can be like 8 hours long, it's possible that it would happen just when I'm asleep. So thankfully we caught episode 43. We've been waiting nearly a month for this to occur. Big storm coming in for the Hawaiian Islands over the next few days. I have a report on that on my Clips channel. I'll link that in the video description. And if you've seen my Clips channel, that is an official channel from me. Sometimes I do standalone short form videos there that are made fresh. Other times I will take a clip from a live stream, for example, post it there. But that is me. And so if you haven't subscribed to it already, make sure you subscribe to that so you see that as well. Everything will be fine as it relates to Hawaii. nothing to worry about, but you know, if you live on the Big Island, be aware that this rain coming in could be maybe not the most pleasant. Could be acidic, could be ashy as a result of this big eruptive episode occurring right now just before it rolls in, and with the wind blowing to the north directly into that system. So send you all lots of love and light. Please take care of yourselves. Again, I'm going to leave the stream on for you all to watch. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks so much, and ciao.